what's the name? Oh, the name of the, yeah, evolution, like from compulsive doodler to semi-proficient artist, like a Pokemon. I evolved. Hi guys, and welcome to this kinda impromptu video where I answer questions, mostly. This is the first video that I do of this type. As you guys may know, I've been wanting to do more with my video content and YouTube channel for a while, and I have started doing that by doing a series about chibis and Wheel of Time, where I draw and talk about this fantasy series that I really like that is called Wheel of Time. But I also want to do more art-related content, and this is one of those videos where I talk about art, I think. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me questions about art or anything really, and I got a ton of responses, so I'm not gonna be able to answer all of the questions. I'm only gonna be doing some of them. I hope that your question gets picked. If it hasn't, maybe I'll do another one, like a part 2 later on. So let's go with the questions. The first question I got was where to start digital art, iPad or drawing tablet, any recourses, which I think was resources. So where to start with digital art? That's like a huge question already. Where to start? I think the best way to start is to, just pick up any tool that can produce a sign and just do it. No, seriously. Okay, so where to start? I think if you are just getting started and you don't have a ton of money to spend on this, you should just get a Wacom tablet. Like, I think there are very inexpensive tablets like the bamboo one, which is the first tablet that I got as well as a gift when I was like 15 or 16, I think. Just a note from Future Memo, which is also editing memo. I have actually checked, and Wacom bamboos apparently have been discontinued or something because I'm old as ages. Now you can get a Wacom Intuos if you don't want to spend that much money, and they still seem to be pretty affordable. So there's either that or the Wacom One, which also seems very affordable. It's like 40 euros on their websites, which is this thing that we're looking at now. The Wacom tablets are, in my opinion, the best that there are on the market. There's loads of others like X-Pen and like other brands that I can't remember now, honestly. But I'm told that they are actually quite good. They have been getting better. Like in the past, anything that wasn't Wacom was a little bit untrustworthy. The materials are not as good, and so the pen will not be as responsive, and you won't feel as comfortable. Like it will feel a lot different than drawing on paper, etc., etc. So I feel like Wacom is probably still the most trustworthy of the digital tablet solutions that you may want to get. There's a difference between a digital drawing tablet and a screen tablet. What most professional artists use is a screen tablet, so you can draw on the screen of a tablet and you are basically just drawing on a piece of paper, like straight on the canvas, right? Instead, a digital drawing tablet can be just a tablet upon which you draw, and then the same sign is reproduced on the computer, whether you're using Photoshop or Manga Studio Clip or, whatever. So I think that to start out, a digital drawing tablet is perfectly fine because the screen tablets are a lot more expensive usually, and if you're not sure that this is something that you want to pursue as an hobby or as a career, I don't think it makes sense to spend the money. But that's because I'm cheap. So, like, my digital tablet, it's a Wacom Cintiq 22HD. It's a screen tablet, and I didn't buy it. It's basically my partner's, and I use it because he doesn't need it. So I am really cheap. I never actually bought a digital tablet, I think. I only bought my iPad, and I did that in 2016, and it did make a big difference for me. Like, before I was using the Wacom Bamboo, and it was fine, but I think when I got the iPad, because it was so immediate to, just take it around with you everywhere, I was just glued to it. I was just drawing like 10 hours a day, I think. And that's what made a big difference, but it's not because of the tool itself. I feel like if you want to practice drawing, you can do it using any tool. It's just whatever makes you feel more comfortable and therefore will like make you want to draw more, if you know what I mean. For me, that was the iPad. I got so like into using it, and I started using Procreate, and definitely that made a bit different in my evolution, like from compulsive doodler to semi-proficient artist, like a Pokemon. I evolved. Definitely get like a cheap like digital drawing tablet, and then when you become a little bit more acquainted with the tool, then you probably understand what works for you and what doesn't, because it's really like it's a very subjective thing. I feel like it's very much up to you and what you prefer. And for you to figure out what you prefer, you have to just get started with something and then understand what works best for you. And to get started with something, it's better to get started with something cheap. And if you don't like it, you can just, screw it, and it doesn't matter. Any resources? That's still part of the same question. Any resources? Yeah, there's a ton, like anywhere, literally. Myself, a little bit of self-promotion there. I have a lot of tutorials out on Skillshare, on 21Draw. I have some free tutorials on my website, which you can all find listed below. My resources, the ones that I produce, that is, are pretty much for beginners to intermediate, people who want to either start drawing, like, because I have like a fundamentals of drawing course out, and also just people who are already semi-proficient with drawing and want to try out the cartoony style or whatever. 21Draw has this huge masterclass where you buy a pass and you can get all these different courses with other artists as well, not just me. There's a ton of artists that I follow on Instagram and on ArtStation, so I think that's really good value, in my opinion. Maybe for more advanced artists, there's Schoolism. They have really good courses. I took one on painting with light, basically how to paint with using like just colors. I realized that I explained that really badly. It's a course done by the guys that run Tonko House, which is a really cute animation studio. It's a really good course. I'm gonna link it there as well. Other resources. Loish has like a really good Patreon, I think. I am on her Patreon, and I think her Patreon is really cool. She does really nice, really informative tutorials. Resources for starting to sketch and learn how to do figure drawing. There's a really, really good book that I swear upon is like my Bible. I'm gonna go and grab it. Right. Yeah, I just went and got it. It's this one. It's called Movement and Form by Samantha Youssef. It's the Youssef Drawing Syllabus Volume 1. You can buy it, but I don't recommend buying it on Amazon because actually it costs less if you buy it from her website. And this is just so good. It's like, as you can see, it basically tells you like the stage, like step-by-step method to approach figure drawing and be able to sketch really fast just when you're doing live drawing. It's really good. How do you find your own individual style? Wow, this is a really difficult question as well. I have a course out on 21Draw that talks about stylization and ways that you can find your own style by doing certain exercises, by analyzing other people's styles and sort of inch towards the style that you prefer, that you feel like you're most comfortable with. I feel like when you're trying to figure out what's your style, it can be very painful because you see that sometimes you do something and you feel like, yes, that's the right direction, but you're not there yet, right? It's very frustrating sometimes when you see where you want to go, but you're not there yet. And that's probably because either you're not as skilled yet in terms of craftsmanship, or simply you haven't really figured out exactly what are the variables that make up the style that you want to get to. Like, you have seen some references of other people and you're like, oh yeah, I like this thing and I like that thing and I like that thing, and then you just have to sort of put everything together. But it takes time. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it, I feel like a lot of people want to get good fast in anything, really. And I'm guilty of it myself. I'm always like really impatient with my art and with my drawings and with my projects. But the reality of it is that you need time to do things. And the way that you perceive your style and your artistic maturity also has to mature. So I think, yeah, you can definitely take my course if you want to, and you can also look at other people's styles and put together a Bible of things. Like, a Bible is basically just a collection of other people's art, and you basically go like, yeah, I like how this person does hands and how this person does hair, or this person does the color render. And then I'm not saying to copy them. I'm not talking about just lifting things from other people, not at all. I'm just saying you get this collection, and then you can start to put everything together, and everything sort of seeps through into your drawings, and then all of a sudden you go like, oh wow, so now the things that I draw are recognizable because I draw them in a way that puts together things that no other people does, so they have become original and unique. Okay, so new question. What's your favorite brush to use? This is a really easy question. In Procreate, I always basically use just one brush. I'm not even joking. My favorite brush is Ink Brush, which is a native brush in Procreate, so I haven't bought it or anything. I think it's the best. It's literally the best brush I've ever used. I use it for everything. I use it for sketching, for line art, for coloring, because when you use it for sketching and line art, it's got this really nice textury bit, so that you can make it very small and it's still, accurate, but it does have some sort of texture to the edges. And if you use it for coloring and you just make it a lot bigger, then it leaves some areas on the surface that you're coloring that are sort of a little bit scratched out, and again, really nice texture. Okay, I'm gonna answer this question because I actually have multiple questions asking about this, so this definitely makes a list. Art school, or are you a self-taught artist, or do you go to art school? I am a self-taught artist, but I also have gone to art school. So in Italy, we have a high school that is like art high school that you can go to, and you do 5 years of art. And I haven't gone to that sort of school, so I don't think that I have like an academic understanding of art and visual art, or like I haven't done any extensive studying of anatomy or anything like that. As a kid, I grew up just reading comics and wanting to draw my characters, so I just drew a lot. Honestly, not even self-taught, like I didn't really think about what I was doing. I was just fumbling around and kind of drawing in the styles that I liked. I then went to university and I studied publishing and graphic design. So yeah, nothing artistic really, just more of like graphic design. It's not really art, I think. I mean, I'm probably gonna get like stabbed in the back by a mob of like angry graphic designers, but I have been a graphic designer. I don't think that was art. I mean, it's graphic design. It's something that can be orderly and then can be pretty. It can be aesthetically pleasing, but I don't think it's the same thing as visual art, honestly. It doesn't teach you about drawing at all. You don't do figure drawing, you don't understand anything about anatomy or perspective or stuff like that. As a graphic designer, you understand about color palettes and, layouts and composition. Then after that, I decided to drop it all because I didn't like being a graphic designer, as you can see. And well, mostly because I was working in like marketing and stuff, and I was kind of uninspired really. So I went to China and I was an English teacher for a while, and then I came back to Italy and I went to Scuola Internazionale di Comics, which is the International School of Comics, which is interesting because I don't think it's actually international, but anyway, I did 2 years of traditional animation there. So in that course I studied some anatomy. We did some character design, layout design, we did some storyboarding, all the different bits that make up animation. So that's my only experience in art school. A lot of what I learned was partly because of some good teachers that I had there, that mostly gave me more inputs to go out and do things myself, because, and this is my view on art school, you can definitely go to art school and it's going to be a good input if you take it seriously, but at the end of the day, especially with something so practical as drawing, if you don't put the hours in and you don't practice, you're not gonna get better. You can never go to art school and just draw like 1,000,000 hours a day and be critical with what you're drawing and, you know, try and actually get better. And then you'll have a portfolio that it's million of miles better than the portfolio of someone who went to a really important art school. And I think this is true for a lot of people that have, you know, risen to fame on social media, for example, or, you know, really young people like 16-year-old or 17-year-olds that are really amazing at drawing, and, you know, they haven't gone to art school, they're just drawing all the time. Art school is like the people who need to go to the gym to actually exercise. I know this sounds a bit random, but basically the idea is like some people can just exercise at home. You know, like there's YouTube and you can just watch a video on YouTube and do it yourself at home. You can just go for a run on your own and you're still exercising, right? But some people say, oh, if I don't go to the gym, if I don't make the choice to actually, you know, pay a gym and go out of the house and all that, I will not exercise because I can't be asked at home. Like I know myself, and I simply won't do it. It's good if you go to art school and you research the people that are going to be your teachers, because that makes all the difference. If an art school has just teachers that you've never heard of and that you don't like the art of, then don't go to that art school, because chances are they're not going to be very good teachers. But if you research an art school and there's some really cool artists that work there and are teachers, and artists that are actual artists, like people who actually work in this industry, not just people who have studied art. I think I'm coming across pretty harsh here. It's just my opinion, obviously. And it's very limited to the experience that I had, which can be totally different from the experience that other people have had. Right, since this video has gone on for a million years, I am going to take one more question, and that question is, who is your favorite artist? My favorite artist is always changing, but I have a roster of artists that I just always love, and every time I see one of their pieces I melt. I think number one goes to TB Choi. I did a workshop with her last year at La Galeria Roja in Sevilla before COVID, and that was absolutely insane and amazing. She's so nice, and I just really loved her workshop. She's one of those artists, and I mean, just go and follow her if you don't, because she's so amazing. She can do anything. She's like really good with anatomy because she teaches anatomy in Korea, and she can draw like in a realistic style really well. But also she can do these like really cute little chibis as well. So like she has the whole range. TB Choi is like who I want to be when I grow up kind of thing. Even though I think she's actually younger than me. So anyway, another one that I really love is Alessandro Barbucci. I mentioned him before. He's probably the reason why I wanted to become an artist, or, you know, just a writer, or just make my own comics, basically, which was my favorite comic growing up. I really like how he draws women and how sensual and like fleshy they feel like. I really like the combination that he has as well of like Disney, but a little bit more edgy, a little bit spicy. Another artist that I really love is Emmy Thompson, I think she's called. I'm just looking down because I'm looking at her profile on Instagram because I need the reminder of her name. And I really love her style. I think she's really cool. I really like an artist called Kathleen McAllister. She does these really beautiful backgrounds and like layouts, and everything with her is like plant and magical girls, and like she has this botanical academy sort of series out, and it's so pretty. I really recommend her. She's one of my like latest favorites. Another one that I really like is called Maya Lior. It's MD Lior on Instagram. She has this really beautiful sort of sketchy style, and yeah, I really like her as well. I could go on like this forever. If you go on my Instagram account and you look, I'm following 639 artists, and literally every single one of those 639 is one of my favorite artists. Otherwise, I wouldn't be following them. I feel like this is all the time we got today, because this video has already gone on for far too long in comparison to what I thought it would be, which I thought was like 10 minutes, and I think this is way longer. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you want me to do more questions, more art questions, or more questions in general, like life questions, whatever. Not the question of life, obviously, just other things that are not art that I am also interested in. Just shoot down some questions if you like. Just subscribe, you know, all the things that people say at this point. See you later.